Well, if the media headlines are anything to go by, then the elections for the DA's parliamentary leader on the 29th of May promises to be the most robust elections since the party's inception. There is a perception that Mmusi Maimane is being parachuted into the position of caucus leader, although he has no parliamentary experience. It's clear the contest will be between Mmusi Maimane and Deputy Federal Chairperson of the Democratic Alliance Makashule Gana. In the studio, we're joined by Professor Tinyiko Maluleke to give us a little bit more insight on this matter. Prof, thank you. Thanks for being with us this morning. Can we say that the contest is between Maimane and Gana for this position?
Well, there's also the name of James Self that has been mentioned. Apparently, he was asked to step in for a year to allow for Maimane to get the experience. So we have to put him in. I don't know that Makashule Gana is being supported by the powers that be, but he apparently has thrown his head in. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah,
but Mmusi, is he the right guy for the job if he does in fact get it?
Well, I suppose if you give him time, I don't know that he is ready. But you know how many of our politicians have got into positions for which they were ready. Yeah. You know, they get in and they get on with it. And I suppose that's what he would do. But I suspect that he would attract the same kind of criticism that Lindiwe, ironically, was attracting, of inexperience, of being parachuted and all of those things.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, you've got two candidates who we're talking about and who have absolutely no parliamentary experience. But like you're saying, Lindiwe also didn't have that parliamentary experience. But how do you think she fared, all in all?
I really get the impression that people have been a little bit hard on her. I'm sure that she made mistakes, and the DA can point out the particular mistakes that she made in particular debates. But I think she tried. I think she tried both inside Parliament and outside Parliament to represent the DA. For someone as young and as inexperienced as her, if you look at it from that point of view, you could say her effort was quite remarkable.
Yeah. All right, we've got Helen Zille, who has said that she very well make herself available to move into Parliament next year. You know, this will obviously mean that she would have to relinquish her position as the Premier of the Western Cape. Is that a good move?
Well, it's something worth thinking about, because she doesn't want to be seen as the permanent Premier of the Western Cape either. That she has this permanent position from which she sits and then commands and directs everyone from there. She also needs to prepare for succession inside the DA beyond just being the Premier of the Western Cape. And I think that move would also be a signal that she's preparing for succession.
29th of May, we're going to be seeing an election within an election in the party. And, I mean, at the moment, it does look like there's infighting happening. I mean, could this be the unfortunate way going forward for the party for the next 5 years?
I think this is the party growing up. This is what happens when you aim for the black vote, when you aim you try to produce and manufacture black leadership, when you want to break out of the ceiling the way that the DA has been trying to do over the years. This has got to come. People are going to jostle for positions. They're going to fight for positions. And the DA must just accept this as part of the reality of growing up. And if they want to reach that 30% mark, they must expect more and more of this. But they've got to manage it better than I think Helen is managing the Lindiwe Mazibuko thing. I don't think she has managed it well at all. I think Lindiwe looks like the stateswoman, and Helen doesn't look like the stateswoman here. Lindiwe says, I'm not going to give interviews, I'm going to study. Helen says, I didn't say I made her, but I did say I promoted her. So what's the difference?
Yeah, it is. It doesn't seem that the leadership style is coming into question at this point from Helen Zille. At this point, is she looking like a little bit of a liability for the DA?
I don't think she's reached that point of being a liability, but she could slowly undo the good work that she has done, I fear. Because she's done a lot of good work for the DA. I mean, she's almost doubled the support of the DA since she came in. But one wonders whether she's not reaching that point where she becomes a bit overbearing and open herself up to accusations that she picks people, she handpicks people, she promotes them aggressively, and she attacks them if they don't toe the line. Sort of. I don't think she wants that image. I don't think the DA wants that either. So this has got to be handled differently, I think.
All right. Professor, I'm going to ask you to stay on. We've managed to get a bit more time because there's so much more to talk about, especially today. The premier list for the ANC is going to be coming out, and I'd like to get some of your predictions and thoughts on this, as well as a couple of other issues. So we're going to take a break. When we return, we're going to have more of a conversation with Professor Tinyiko Maluleke. Stay tuned.